a tall glass building in uptown New York, there was a balcony just big enough for one chair, 3 flower pots, and a boy named Calvin. The city below buzzed and blinked, but up here it was mostly quiet. Mostly except for the basil pot. Because inside that pot, tucked between the greenest leaves, lived Luna, a fairy no bigger than a crayon, with wings like flower petals and a voice like wind chimes. No one else could see her, only Calvin. She said it was because his heart still had soft corners. The kind that grown-ups iron out when they stop believing in small magical things. She had been living there long before Calvin moved in. Waiting, watching, listening to the city forget its stories. Until one evening something flickered beside her. A jar glowing like the sleepy sun. Calvin blinked once, then twice. Maybe it was a trick or a magic bug. But no, it was real, a jar of light right there on his balcony. Then he heard Luna whisper, "You saw it too?" And that's how it all began. Calvin was 7. He liked quiet things, like the way sunlight danced on his school shoes, or how the city sounded from way up high. He did not talk too much, not because he was shy, just because most people did not wait long enough to listen. His dad was always working, kind eyes but busy hands, always saying, "1 minute, buddy," but the minute never really came. His mom was soft like a cloud but far away, like she was inside a daydream she could not get out of. She used to sing while brushing his hair. Now she just stared out the window, like she was waiting for something but forgot what. Luna told him something that stuck. "Memories float in the air," she said. "Tiny sparkles people drop when they are too busy or too sad to carry them. And if you are quiet enough, you can catch them." So Calvin did. He cupped the joy of jumping in puddles during the first monsoon rain. The smell of mangoes that made summer feel like magic. The cozy sleepy warmth of his grandma's best dish bubbling on the stove. The sound of his mom laughing that one time he asked if they could take the moon home in a jar. And the absolute bliss of watching his first concert sitting on his father's shoulders as music filled the night like shooting stars. Each memory went into a tiny jar, and every jar glowed. Some blinked like fireflies, some flickered like birthday candles, some just shone soft and steady, like someone saying, "You are safe here." He called them star jars because they looked like pieces of sky that came down to rest. One day, Calvin passed a window that felt cold. Not the kind of cold that makes your teeth chatter, but the kind that makes your heart feel lonely. So he left a jar there, just one, just to see. The next morning, the curtains were open. Someone was humming, badly but happily, and the air felt a little lighter. So Calvin kept going. A jar for the old man who dropped his keys every day. One for the girl who was always wearing mismatched socks. One for the cat who waited by the elevator like it had something important to do. The balcony became a secret workshop, a place of glows and giggles and quiet magic. And Calvin became the star keeper of the building. But there was one person he hadn't given a jar to. His mom. He wasn't sure if she would notice or care. But Luna said, "Some people need a star most when they forget how to shine." So Calvin made his gentlest jar ever. He filled it with the memory of her old song, the one about clouds and paper boats, and the smell of rain that day she danced on the balcony with him. And that time she cupped his face and said, "You are my favorite story in the whole wide world." He placed the jar next to her teacup and waited. The next morning something small happened, but it was everything. Calvin heard a hum, just one note or maybe two. His mother was holding the jar. She wasn't saying anything, but her eyes were warm again, and she touched his cheek like she remembered he was hers. That evening she did not sing the whole song, but she did whisper thank you, and that was enough. That night, Calvin sat out on the balcony with Luna. The jars glowed around them like sleepy stars. Luna fluttered onto his shoulder, smelling like cinnamon and wind. "Do you feel different?" she asked. Calvin thought for a second, then he grinned. "I think maybe I swallowed a star by accident." Luna laughed and said, "Maybe you did." Some stars go in jars and some live in people. If you are quiet and kind and full of wonder, you might be a star keeper too. If this story lit a glow in your heart, leave a little star behind. Like, comment or share it with someone who needs a little light. And this last jar? This jar belongs to you because light lives here too. Subscribe to the Petal Pages and keep a little magic for yourself. Thank you.